should stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, you don't have to do that tonight.
All right, what? Oh my God, all right, no, they have to. All right, we'll discuss that. So, I'd like to call this meeting to order and start with a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes of January 24th. So, motion, Rebecca, second?
Mark.
Any comments, questions, changes? Hearing none, all in favor to accept the regular meeting minutes from January 24th, say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. We will have one public comment session this evening because we will be having an executive session at the end. So any members of the public, do you have a comment? No comment? No one on Zoom. Okay. Public comment is closed. A report of water and wastewater. Mr. Charcot?
Yes.
Yep. So let me call. Oh, sorry. Okay. So let me call. If you're speaking, not really sure that you're speaking.
I was waiting for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am going to share screen with your report. You should be able to. Okay. Share screen, desktop. Why isn't it? Please look at files. Why isn't it? Do you not have it open? No, I do have it open. It is not liking it. Oh, come on. That's open. Yeah, can you start? Yeah, go ahead and start, Ed.
Okay, we'll start with the water. I kept everything pretty simple because of our 5-year plan I'd like to discuss. We received our sampling schedule for 2022. I'll make sure that these items are budgeted when working on the budget. I believe that includes asbestos, our normal annual sampling schedule, and we did lead and copper, so that's all good. As for operations, we've done all the water billing and readings for billing in February. We only had a few customer concerns, so it's been pretty quiet. The transfer switch at the well building still hasn't been fixed. We do have a contractor who's to look at that, and it's highly likely that he'll be able to fix it instead of having to replace it. But he's had some family emergencies and is keeping in touch. We received one water freeze up on Route 8. We got a call for water spraying. Base plate was broke, and it's since been repaired and reinstalled. The homeowner, we asked him to put in some heat tape and his light bulb to keep it from freezing again, and so far everything's been good. All the hydrants and the tank site have been cleared since the last snowstorm, and we're still awaiting the grant announcement. It should be in March for the water project that we're hoping to do. And I've also signed JR up for school at the end of March for his water license. Once he's taken that course, we'll schedule with DOH to come up and do the in-house. It's not really an exam. It's like a walkthrough to make sure he understands the system and so on and so forth. And then within that week, he should have his license. So within the next couple months. As for the wastewater department, It's actually just been a lot of in-house paperwork stuff. I went through all of our filing cabinets and transferred them over to one from the office and removed more paperwork as I've done in the past, old stuff that doesn't need to be retained. I'm working on the land application report and the water withdrawal report. And our waste transport permit and DEC annual fees have been completed and sent in. And then been checking our pump stations bi-weekly, and all the snow's been cleared since the last storm. We did have a little failure at the wastewater plant itself. We had some float fail at our pump station down there. It kind of backed up into our basement a little bit, but we took care of it all, replaced both floats, and cleaned up the mess. And everything is functioning properly now. And then as for the project itself, we're still kind of at a standstill as we're awaiting pipes and fittings. The automated bar screen and most of the equipment is there, just waiting to be installed. But they just haven't moved forward because they actually haven't been paid anything yet, but that's because of their own doing. They haven't finished paperwork for MWBE stuff. Once that's completed and submitted, then they can finally get paid for the work that they've done so far. And that was their choice to start work without that being done. So that's on them, and we'll just wait for it to be finished. Are we going to discuss the 5-year plan now, or
Yes.
are we waiting?
No, we'll do the 5-year plan. Unfortunately, I cannot share my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. I'm telling you, we have the technology, and I'm not the person to use it today. Okay, there we go. Oops.
This is preliminary 5-year plan, things that I hope to accomplish within the next 5 years. I don't see any reason we can't, but you never know. I'll start with the water department. A lot of the water projects are determined on this grant and whether or not we get it. If we are to get it, then obviously we'll move forward with that project. It'll take a couple of years anyways. I don't really have anything other than by 2026, I hope to finish and install all new meters throughout the village. I'm estimating this approximately $46,000 worth of meters is to be installed, $10,000 each year. This should allow us to finish by 2026. Obviously, we could shoot for a sooner date. It's just all dependent on whether or not the funds are available to purchase those meters and replace them. And being able to get into people's houses, which can sometimes be difficult. But if we don't get the grant that we're attempting to receive, we have to make sure that we continue moving forward and look at the best options to finish things that haven't been completed in the village. I believe that should be our focus instead of starting new projects. Well, it's still a project, but
Yeah.
if we don't get it, I hope. Yes.
Just a quick question. So where in this 5-year plan does it talk about the meters?
Year 5.
Oh,
Okay, 2000,
Okay.
year 5.
At the bottom.
Year 5.
All right, but you would spread that out from year 5 onwards, or you would spread that out from year 1 to year 5?
Well, we're already in the process so until year 5.
Okay, so you are estimating how much per year for meters? I'm sorry.
10,000. See it?
Yep.
10,000.
Okay, so 10,000 should appear in each one of those years then.
Yeah.
Sure. I didn't do it that way. I apologize.
Nope, that's fine. We just want to see what that spending plan is across every year. That's
Well, I
right.
didn't really do a spending plan. I had a 5-year project plan.
Yeah. No, it is
But I
spending.
included some numbers just to kind of help out.
Yep.
Okay, so if is to not be received, then, as I said, we should move forward on things that haven't been finished in the village, and that would include the river to Black Bear Run and the river to the Bass House. That was estimated at $465,000. I don't even know if that's doable without grant money, but that is something we should focus on. We should finish projects that have not been completed in the past. There's no reason they shouldn't be finished. And that's really the major spending. And then I also have in here, if the WIA grant denied by 2025, year 4, that we replace pump 1 controls with soft start and swing check like we did this year with pump 2. The only reason I put that out.
How much did that cost us?
That was around 20,000, a little less than 20,000. It was 18,000 something. But the reason I put that out is because if we, what's that?
Yeah, I have a question on that. We talked on Wednesday about using the $15,000 that's being given to us this year and the $15,000 next year to do that task.
The ARPA money.
Correct.
So why are we waiting to 2025 when we have the money now?
Because okay, so I get what you're saying. We just replaced this check valve $10,000 last year. I'd rather get a little time out of that and make sure it's used than go ahead and use funds that we have when something could come up that we could use those funds for otherwise. I'd rather play it safe than just go spend it and then not have that money anymore when it's functioning perfectly fine right now.
So we do have
my thought process.
Yeah, but that's been in the retirement.
Well, I never got an answer really how long it takes.
We don't want to lose
Well, we never got an answer on how long it was going to be before we would lose that money.
It's 2026.
How long does
We
it
have to have a plan.
Right. So that's within that time frame.
So we need the plan by 2024 and submit that, and then we need to spend it by 2026. So,
Okay, so 2025 is a reasonable thing.
Yeah. Those are the time limits. If we wanted to spend it tomorrow, we can submit a plan and get done with it. So my question is if 20,000 of that, give or take a few extra dollars, is going to take place in 2024, 2025, is there another spot for the additional 10,000?
Yeah, we can always add things to the well control building. We could use new flow meters. Those are original. There's lots of things we could add in there to make up that difference.
Okay, so in the interim, between now and the time that we put in the control and check valves, can we have a list of potential things we can do for ARPA? For the ARPA spend? Just to cover that, just to cover 10,000.
So, in addition to how much is it total? 30,000?
Yeah, give or take.
Just over.
Just over. So if we allow 20,000 and the over, because of inflation or whatever, to cover the controls to the soft start and swing check valve, then we can commit 10,000, because I'm sorry, $10,000 to whatever well building things are required.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so if within the next month or two you can give that to us, that'd be great.
I'm just writing a note.
Yep.
I mean, I think that could easily be spent there. Especially with the prices the way they are. I mean, we probably spent $18,000 this year, but it's probably more like $25 now the way prices are.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the sewer department, if that's okay.
Yes,
balance that we have available since the original loan for the wastewater plant was paid off. We've been saving that for the last 5 years. We have the FEMA pump station number 2 replacement and upgrade, which that still hasn't been approved. We're waiting on FEMA to do so. Once that's approved and we bid out the project, we're going to add, my plan is to add on an additional $45,000, give or take. That's just equipment, that's not install. I believe that is startup. But that would be to change the panel. Sorry, hold on a second.
Oh, he has an opinion.
That would be to change the panel and buy one additional pump because we already have one pump. And then just give me 1 second, please.
Yeah. So, in the interim, while Ed is away, they are in the final throes of approving both the water costs and the pump station. So, we're waiting to hear on that.
Sorry about that.
Nope.
Okay, so that would be to replace the panel and do one additional pump because we already have on the original project. So basically, we're going to make this pump station just like pump 1. It'll be completely upgraded. A new pump station, new tank, and everything.
Great.
So that'll be $45,000 out of the. I don't know what our fund balance is right now, Crystal. Do you happen to have a number off the top of your head?
Is it on?
No, it's closer to 300,000.
It's closer to 300,000.
Okay. Within year 1, we're hoping to finish all of our manhole inspections this year. And then I'm going to skip the generator for now because we're still looking into grants. But if we were to just purchase the generator, it'd be anywhere from $125,000 to $150,000. I don't have a price for install as of yet.
Okay.
So with finishing manhole inspections, we'll move on to year 2. And at that time, when those inspections are done, I hope to begin an I&I study for cammering all of the village mains within the village. This would allow us to determine where we have problem areas and breaks in our sewer mains causing I&I issues. I got a price from New York Rural Water. It's $300 a day. Doesn't matter how much you get done. A lot of places do it by the foot. That is the best price as far as I can tell. And that's more of a, they charge that just for camera wear and tear and maintenance, basically. As we're members, they always help the village. Like, I can call them for water main breaks and stuff like that if they need to find them.
Okay.
I'm estimating that around $5,000. That's
How many feet
kind
of
of a
line do
number
you have?
I knew you were going to ask that. I don't know the exact number, but I would say we have over 15,000 feet.
Okay.
We've actually already done anywhere from 3,500 to 4,000 feet to date, and I do have video of those. We did find, so that was all the lake line and stuff for trying to get the grant in the first place.
Yep.
Which was, well, I believe that was pre the board we have now.
Yes.
There are definitely some problem areas. And then as you can tell, I'll keep going. We have the continuation of the I&I study. I don't know if we'll get that all completed in 1 year because they have a schedule and other people they tend to as well. But this 2024 is also our deadline for disinfection. We're still awaiting funding from EFC in regards to that. It's just a waiting game. worst comes to worst, if we were to have to install it ourselves, it really wouldn't be a lot of money because the plant was already set up for it before, like when the plant was originally designed.
Okay.
So that would entail a couple metering pumps, which is probably going to be like a couple $1,000. Chlorine for the year, which I don't really have an estimate because I don't know how much we would use yet. All the piping and plumbing, and then we have dechlorination, which would be 2 more metering pumps, or maybe just one. I'm not really sure. This has already been put into the works because it was included in the original engineering plan for the projects we're in the process now. So basically what we're doing is we're just waiting for WQIP funds to move forward with that. If by next year we still haven't received funds, then we'll have to start looking. What I've been told is if they don't give us the funds, we shouldn't do it. They need to give us the funds to do so because they put it on us at last minute.
Okay.
That would basically put us into consent, but that would also allow us to get funding if we were in consent. So that's a discussion we'll have to have in the future if we get to that point. It doesn't make sense to spend funds for something that we're being forced to do and there's funds available for. That's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
So that's the deadline for that. And then I have for 2025 the continuation of the I&I study. And Flushing, if we're already finished with that, then we can always move 2026 forward or 2020 or anything future beyond that forward. And then I have slip lining the bad mains once this I&I studies are finished. Today's cost is $50 a foot. The reason I go with slip lining is because there's no trenching or digging that needs to be done. Especially along the lake line.
Do you guys understand what slip lining is for the sewer line? Right, it's something that goes in the existing pipe and it creates an additional lining. Did I get that right, Ed?
Yes, so they basically, I don't really know the whole process, but I believe it involves heat and a liner. They expand that liner, it hardens inside the pipe, they take a machine through there and cut all the laterals out.
Interesting.
So that is the most, it's the most cost-effective way of fixing any major issues. Now, if you only have one issue, it might not be worth it. You can dig it up and fix it, but more than likely what we're going to be looking at is sections of line that have deteriorated since they've been in the ground. So the entire thing will need to be fixed, but we won't really know until the I&I study is completed.
So, Ed, looking at the 4,000 that you've already screened, are there sections that it would benefit from this already rather than waiting an additional 5 years and at a risk of polluting the lake?
I would have to review those videos more, but there are definitely quite a few breaks in the line along the lake, and it's not so much. So these lines are under pressure, so they're not polluting the lake. If they were under pressure, yes, then you would have an issue, and they would already have to be fixed. But because they're not pressurized, it's more of the issue of taking in groundwater than putting it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I would like to throw out there: is there a possibility in the interim, instead of waiting the entire 5 years, if we can do an interim step in there and fix those 4,000 feet or whatever we've got right now that are the bad areas?
Well, you think 4,000 feet out of everything in the village. What if we spend all of our funds on this section of line that's bad, but there's another section that's even worse? You get?
Well, I'm just concerned that waiting an additional 5 years from the years that we've already, prior to this board, so we're looking at 8 to 10 years since the 4,000 feet were done. I can't imagine. Nuts.
I don't personally think that something that's been in the ground for 40 plus years and that's already been broke, who knows how long it's been broke, is going to get any worse than it already is. It's a matter of, should this have been done 10 years ago, 15 years ago, today, tomorrow, 5 years from now? I don't really have an answer for that. This hasn't really been done, so it could have been a problem 15 years ago and it was never addressed. So I don't think waiting any longer is going to hurt anything, but we can move forward if you'd like to.
Well, I guess I would like to personally, and I'm not the expert here, but personally, I guess I'd like to see progress along the way rather than waiting the 1, 2, 3, almost 4 years, 3.5 years to do the I&I study and then do it all in one ball of wax, especially if we have monies available now to at least do a portion of that. Or within the next 2 years.
I can look into it.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know if that's the way to go about it. I'd rather finish the study prior to moving forward with. I like to do one thing at a time.
Don't we all?
When is this done?
Well, no, it's just kind of like you don't want to spend all your funds and then have another 10,000 feet that has to be fixed. That's worse.
No, I'm
How
not.
do I know?
I'm not saying to do it all. Ed, easy. I'm not saying to do it all at once. I'm not saying to blow all the funds that we have available in the surplus of the sewer treatment plant. But I think that even if we broke it up 50-50, if you could do half of the I&I study and see what areas are bad in conjunction with the 4,000 that you've already done, and put a budget to the worst areas to fix those, and then in the next following 2 years do the rest of it. Just stage it, phase it, stage it.
Okay. I don't think. Yeah. All right. I can do that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions? Are you finished, Ed? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions for Ed? Yes.
Just have one question, related to the slip line and some bad mains. Like, are there sections where it would be more cost effective for the long run to actually put a new line down, or the slip line he thinks is gonna hold?
So, did you hear that, Ed?
Yeah, I heard it, and it's all dependent how bad the line is. If it's one break, then yeah, you just pick it up and you fix it. But if there's multiple breaks in a line, it's more cost effective to slip line it.
Yeah.
And I won't know until the I&I study's finished.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have any other comments? Okay, Ed, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure the board really appreciates a future yeah? Yes, and Ed, can you finish up? So we're putting a placeholder in the 5-year plan. There are a couple questions to come back on. And Ed, can you just mention about the insurance claim that we were awarded?
Oh, yeah. So I haven't moved forward with any of that. I was waiting for those funds to be available.
Yes.
At this point, I don't see any reason we shouldn't just wait till spring because there's 3 feet of snow over there. We'll finish the fence. I'll get the order in for the new panel, and once it comes in, we'll have it installed.
Good.
We did get the check on Friday.
Oh, we got the check on Friday.
That's right.
Yeah, so those funds are available, not going anywhere. So we'll look at that when the snow starts going away. So I'll get that going now.
Yep.
Because I know it's taking a while to get panels and stuff.
Yes.
Does it cover all the damage?
Does it cover all the damage?
off the top of my head. The only thing I'm doing is I'm going to upgrade that panel from a fiberglass panel to a steel panel. That way, if anything ever falls on it again, it's more likely to make it through the damage than just cracking and breaking.
Great. Good. Thank you, Ed. Anybody else?
Okay.
No comments? Ed, thank you very much. Wish you a good night and your family.
All right. No problem. Thank you.
All right. Bye. Okay.
Bye.
Always wonder why I have to squint. Okay. Clerk treasurer.
Okay. We've had all of our nominating petitions come in, and a sample ballot is ready, available for review here at the office. Currently, it's still on the computer. I haven't printed that yet, but I will have that ready by tomorrow. Budgeting, it's budget season. The budget worksheet has been sent to both Ed and Roger and to the fire department for their estimates. Estimates should be submitted to the budget officer by March 1st. We have an editable document that we all share, so I kind of see their edits in real time as well.
Okay.
The calendar of dates. So the most important dates that we have to look at is the presentation of the tentative budget, which is March 31st. That can be a regular or a special meeting, and I believe we have a meeting on March 28th that month.
Yes.
So I was thinking that would be the best day to do that.
Yep.
The public hearing for the tentative budget has to be by March 15th. We have a meeting on the 11th.
By March 15th?
Oh, sorry, April 15th. Yeah, thank you. We have a meeting on the 11th of April.
Okay.
So that'll be right in time. And then the final adoption of the budget has to be by May 1st. We have a budget or a board meeting the Monday before.
29th?
Then it's the 25th.
25th.
Yes. Of
So-
April.
We have a public hearing, on the 11th. Okay.
On the
14th
11th,
is
the
25th.
public, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the big thing is last year we held public budget workshops, which I think was very helpful
I think so.
to have. We had 3 of them. Last year we set them for, I think it was the first week, the first Tuesday, the second Wednesday, and the last Tuesday of the month, or third Tuesday of the month. And we did, the first meeting was DPW, the second meeting was water sewer, and then first meeting was DPW and fire department, second meeting was water sewer, and then the third meeting was, any of mine or the board codes or any additional codes that were needed to be discussed and or alterations to any of the other ones before.
Okay. So we would, in theory, we should be able to have a workshop as early as the week of the 7th or the week of the 1st?
If everybody gets me their.
Okay, let's say the week of the
I would say
7th.
the week of the 7th.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be
So
best.
we do not have a board meeting on the 7th. Are people available on March 7th?
Well, I think last year we didn't do it on the
Monday?
Mondays because of the town board meetings.
Ah,
and
that's
anybody
right.
went to those. So,
Okay.
or anybody wanted to participate or come and listen to the public meeting here for the budget, that would also had to go to board meetings. So,
Okay.
for the town, so.
I seem to think I recall that we had sometimes during the late afternoon. Is that right? No.
We had them all in the evening. I know we did our committee meetings in the afternoon. So,
All right. Why don't we start with March 9th, which is a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Would people be available for Wednesday, March 9th, if we started at 7 for a budget? Yep. For first budget workshop.
Mark can.
Okay, Mark, Cindy, Jeanette, Jim, do you know? 7 o'clock, you said, right? Yes. Yes, that's fine.
March 9th.
March 9th? Okay, and then the next one, our board meeting is the 14th. So do you wanna try the next Wednesday of the 16th?
Yeah, the 16th would be good because we have village elections on the 15th.
Yeah, so we can't do it on the 15th, so 3/16 at 7 p.m.?
Fine with Mark.
So far, so good. Okay. There could be some babysitting involved there. That may be a way, but we'll see. Okay. And then the last one, do you want to shoot for the 23rd?
Keep them on Wednesday.
Yeah, keep them on a Wednesday. 23rd, I know those of us who are involved in SVAC have CME at 6:30 on Wednesday. The 23rd of. Is there a possibility that we can go early? Like 5 o'clock?
Sure.
For the budget? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Okay. So 3/23, 5 p.m. Okay.
So the times are 7 o'clock, the first one, 7 the second.
Yep. And 5 the next. Yep. Okay, great. So we will set up those workshops. What else do you have, Crystal?
So I saw that you put this down in new business, but I have it in my,
General codes.
No.
No.
We received.
Village maintainer, yep.
applications So far for the village maintainer
Yes.
position. That was in the paper and we've had it on our website.
Okay.
I'm not sure when you want us.
I would like to schedule that this week.
Okay.
So, I just need one person to interview with me.
I'm available all week.
Okay, so let's, Mark and I work to do that. I think the only day that I am not available is Wednesday for a dentist. Ooh.
Yeah, I can't do it tomorrow. I'm gonna.
Okay, so Thursday or Friday would be perfect.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Starting with the next board meeting, which is February 28th, we will be going back to pre-COVID meeting procedures. This means that the abstract will be available to look through between 6:30 and 7 before the meeting. This gives us more time to add last minute items as necessary. Additionally, I would encourage everybody to come in and during normal office hours to review the financial report so they don't have to rush on the night of the board meeting for approval. And then that's it for now.
Okay.
The financial report is ready for January. So.
Okay, so the financial report is ready for review for the month of January, and this is abstract number 16. So, may I have a motion to approve abstract 16?
So moved.
Okay, Mark, second by Cindy. Any questions or comments in abstract 16? We are buckling down on purchase orders between now and the end of the year to make sure that there's a tight rein on that.
You saw my comments in an email today, right?
Yes, and so pertaining to the Ventrac, I did call Roger. He has on hand now one belt of every Ventrac for those situations where it's not available to be taken down. So for those emergencies, so I asked him about it, and we can ask him again. So Ventrac, we have a service agreement with Ventrac. So I think we need to review that with Roger again. Where are they located? They're about an hour away, I think.
Yes. About an hour away, but he bought maintenance items.
Yeah.
That should be covered on the maintenance, and he does that every spring, and I don't know the reason he bought the items that he did.
I think he doesn't. In our conversation today, he said that these were for emergencies. So if a belt broke today, he'd be able to fix it instead of taking it out of commission, getting it down there, getting it serviced.
That's true, but there was filters and things that are covered under the maintenance contract.
Okay, and we'll have them send them back. Okay. Okay. Let me write that. Okay, so all in favor of approving abstract number 16 to pay the bill, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Going very quickly through old business. COVID update. As Crystal said, this is the last meeting that we have by Zoom for the Board of Trustees. Everybody needs to be present and accounted for. The other woohoo moment is end to mask mandate in public spaces. I guess we're still working on the kids in school. The only point I need to make for the McComas Fire Tower is that the tower has to be up by this fall in order to complete our grant requirements. So we are working on fundraising. We should be meeting this week, Ryan Marshall, Cheryl Pastella, and I, to see if there are other ways to generate, because we're getting in, I think, fairly close to our bottom line there. Okay, and then we will begin updating the employee handbook at our next meeting. I did promise the fire department that we would go next with that. So I had sent a variety of quotes that the fire department got. Thank you, Ryan, to the fire department for doing that. I think there were about 4 or 5 quotes for the UTV, 2 quotes for the trailer, and 4 or 5 quotes for the pump itself. The fire department sent out specifications that you were provided with as well. So they've made a determination that the UTV rescue vehicle in the amount of $29,367.93 would be purchased from Moody's Polaris located in Newport, New York. The portable pump would be $6,035 from MTech located in Chico, California. The trailer is the same place where they got it the last time, from Hallmark, located in Gavensfort, to the tune of $11,839. There is a $46 inspection, processing, and New York State tire fee, and lettering not to exceed $1,000. So right now, the costs are estimated for a total of $48,287.93. This is well within the $50,000. The only thing that needs to be put down as a deposit right now is for the trailer, 20% of the trailer. And as per the resolution, that would be covered under budget A 3410.4, which covers grants. And there is $3,000 there, so up to $3,000 can be used for the down payment in the trailer, and then everything else would be put in the 22-23 budget. Thank you. All right, so the resolution covers that the equipment is needed, the grant is provided, we have followed the necessary steps under applicable law, providing the acquisition of the equipment. We have followed our procurement policy. The amounts are cited there. We would take up to $3,000 for a down payment. The rest would be in the 22-23 budgets. So, all in favor? I need a motion for the approving purchase of wildland response vehicle, trailer, and related equipment.
I'll do it.
Okay, second is Rebecca. No, not Mark. Are there any questions, comments for Ryan? Ryan Marshall is representing the fire department here. Ryan, again, thank you very, very much for all the information you provided to the board for the purchase, as well as writing the grants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Hearing no questions or comments from Ryan or anybody else, all in favor of passing this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, thank you.
See ya. All right, so again, moving quickly, general codes proposal. So if you will recall, General codes were provided, a proposal for general codes was provided at a prior meeting. The total cost of that project to codify all of the laws that we have, all the upgrades that have occurred since the last update to the codes, which is well over a decade ago. Right, Bob Begovich has joined us, right? It's like from 2006, 2005, 2006. So it's been a heck of a long time.
It was supposed to 2006, 2010, 2015.
Yeah, so our code book is from 2006.
Present.
The code book that includes village laws.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yours is, yes.
Yes, ours is 2006, but it's been updated twice since then. So as you will recall, we approved the project. It comes to the amount of $13,495. There is a structured payment where at contract signing, 20% is due. Submission of the organizational analysis is within 80 days. That's another 20%. Submission of the editorial and legal analysis, that's 30% of the project, and then submission of the final draft is 20%, 2, 4, 6. And the last 10% is due on balance. So what we have here is within the resolution, we are amending the 21-22 budget to pay for the general code proposal for 50% this year. A little less.
It's 40%.
40% this year in timing with the payments, and 60% in the following year. So there's a $10,000 budgeted in contingencies, and per the performance and payment schedule provided in the proposal, the village would be liable for 40% of the total proposed amount, and that would be $5,398 within this fiscal year, and the remaining amount of $8,097 would need to be paid in 22-23. So this resolution is asking that $5,398 be moved from A 1990.4, the contingent fund, to A 8010.4, zoning contractual, to be paid out to general code. So may I have a motion to approve the resolution? Mark Doniker, I see that hand. Second. Cindy, any questions or comments? Again, this makes it available online, so anybody can easily see it, access it. We spoke with the planning board. They reviewed what's available, very positive. Bob gave us his thumbs up. Rick gave us his thumbs up. So I think this will be really good for bringing us into are we in the 21st century still? All right, so all in favor of passing this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Good. That'll be a great thing. Okay, so the next to last thing on the budget, on the agenda is LoSAP. So this is a long-term service award plan for our firefighters. Cindy Rumsey and I, thank you, Cindy, met with representatives from RBC, Wealth Management, and PenFlex. And I'm just trying to pull up my little cheat sheet here. Excuse me. LoSAP. And okay. And this is share screen. LoSAP. Okay. So what I've done here, I provided all the background information that we collected as separate attachments. And what I've done here is I've gone through and looking at the experience between PenFlex RBC and VFIS is our current carrier, which is an insurance carrier, and Lincoln Wealth Management. They have comparable years of experience working together and working in the area of LoSAPs. From the information that we got from VFIS when we were talking about going from a direct benefit or defined benefit to a defined contribution, which is what we're doing now, said that they really didn't happen very often. They really didn't do it very much. But when I speak with PenFlex and RBC, that's the wave of the way things are going. So it seems like the experience with this directed or defined contribution plan, PenFlex seems to have more experience than VFIS and Lincoln. When you look at the services, both give account statements. RBC gives quarterly performance, account balances on demand. They are very responsive and proactive and very customer focused. Lincoln does personal accounts. The way they do things is they do it per individual firefighter. So they're the ones who determine exactly where their monies will be invested, et cetera, and that comes at an additional cost. With RBC, everybody's money goes into the same pool. It all gets invested the same way. With PenFlex, they provide compliance services. As we mentioned before, LOSAP is required to be audited annually by the Office of the State Comptroller. And to the best of my knowledge, it has not been audited, ever. So PenFlex actually helps until this year, yes, until this year. So PenFlex actually helps review and audit the point system that the fire department bases their awards on. They actually write some of the language that the auditors are required to put in to make sure that that's all up to speed. The big difference between VFIS and PenFlex are the responsiveness. When you call PenFlex, you talk to the people who are actually doing the work. In VFIS, I think I go into a black hole. Sometimes I come out, sometimes I don't. So we've had a lot of difficulty getting information. We've have to ask for the same thing multiple times, and we still don't get the right information. So it's been, for me personally, it's been an incredibly frustrating experience. Investment options, both are an extensive array of investments. The portfolio is tailored to meet specific investment parameters. And so as we discussed, we would have 2 representatives from the fire department, as many representatives from the board as wants to, but a minimum of 2, to sit down and plan out what those options are, and that would be reviewed. We can review it every 6 months. We can review it annually. And then just to make sure that everybody understands how the funds are being invested, they will come and speak to the fire department, et cetera. With Lincoln, they have conservative, moderate, aggressive portfolios that may be customized. It's a decentralized process, and so the onus of the investment falls to the firefighter rather than as a group. The fees are different for RBC, so the financial portion of it, they charge a flat fee of 1.25% for any assets over 100,000. So we have close to 250,000, 300,000 in our portfolio. So that would be a 1.25 flat fee. With Lincoln, it's 1.71% of assets, although I've heard tell it could be a little bit higher than that, go as high as 1.8. In addition to that is $15 per participant. So that's a big difference. And then the administration fees to PenFlex, it's $2,200 plus $17 per participant. And we probably have 20 accounts that we have to manage. Some are inactive, but 20 overall. And then the fee structure for VFIS is, I find, very difficult to ascertain. So this year we paid $1,450 plus $15 per participant, and then we were charged an additional $1,300. So $2,750 is what we've paid to VFIS, and I certainly don't think we've gotten our administrative money's worth. So at this point, I would like to have a motion that we shift our LOSAP administration and investments to PenFlex and RBC Wealth from our current situation of defined benefit with VFIS.
So moved.
Excuse me?
Is there an exit fee?
No exit fee. So motion is put forward by Mark. Second.
Second.
Rebecca, any additional questions? Okay, and I would like to thank Cindy for sitting and slogging through all this with me. So we've been doing this for a couple times. So thank you for that. So all in favor of going for PenFlex RBC Wealth Management, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. This year's contribution will be made directly through PenFlex and RBC so that we don't have to deal with additional rigmarole with DFIS. Okay, that's that. I do have a public service announcement appealing to any and all, these in the room and those outside. Please fill out your New York State broadband survey. It's provided through ECC. The website is www.empirestateBroadband.com. This helps with grants and setting up better broadband service for our area. So,
Can you repeat that, please? www.broadband.
Empire State Broadband. It's actually on the agenda. So I'm kind of an accent. Is that www.empirestateBroadband.com.
Thank you.
Okay. And then to end the roundtable, cross-country ski trail is open. There was a good report on the Chamber of Commerce Facebook from someone who was using it, said that at the time, before the rain and the melt, it was in really good shape, and they really love it. So kudos for that, for being open after they were logging back there. And the hockey clinics are continuing with courtesy of Eric Holvig down at the pavilion. And again, those go out, those announcements go out through the chamber and a few personal accounts. So that's been pretty well received. Okay, so at this point, I would like a motion to end the public session of this meeting and go into executive session for legal consultation pertaining to a code violation. Rebecca, so it is 7:57 and second. Jim Rumsey is a second to go into executive session.
Stop sharing.
Yes, oh, sorry. I am stopping sharing. So everyone who is not